for Facebook Live, and I'm here with Darren Wong at the Magic Kitchen, and we are going to be learning and talking about this insane raindrop cake. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And Darren, we can follow you at
Facebook at Raindrop Cake, and then also Instagram, also Raindrop Cake.
Awesome. So yeah, so let's see what this raindrop cake is all about. Right?
So this is where we make them. We're at Magic City Cafe / Kitchen in Greenpoint. It's a really cool space that is a shared kitchen. This is where I make raindrop cakes out of. If you're ever in Greenpoint, stop by. It's at 37 Box Street. There's a cafe out here, so we serve cappuccinos, raindrop cakes, and whatever food vendors that are working at the kitchen currently. So it's a cool little spot. So for the raindrop cake, we usually make them ahead of time because it takes quite a long process for it to chill and for it to gel. And then we put it in sort of these casings to protect it from heat and movement.
Oh my god! And this is a clear, invisible cake.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, you can't.
It almost looks like a jelly. Like
people will say like, "Oh, it looks like a jellyfish."
Totally does.
And the way that we sort of played it, it sort of feels like we're fishing out a jellyfish.
Does it really? It feels like that?
Yeah, you know, part of the trick is we wanted to keep it at sort of that perfect dome shape as possible. So we never touch that top of the raindrop cake, even when we make it.
Wait, we have to see this. Look at this.
Yeah, I'm gonna show
like
this. It's
water.
kind of fun, and then we poured it in there, and it's in there.
You kind of
you kind of get used to it. You know, it's very. You kind of see the shape of it, but because it's the same density of water, it just blends right in. But it's sort of like fishing out a jellyfish, and people at Smorgasburg always thinks they always love to come to the back and watch this part of the process.
Oh my God.
So what we want to do is just get the bottom side of it, and when you take it out, that's the raindrop cake.
It's so beautiful.
So a lot of times people think we make it right then and there in Smorgasburg, so we're just like scooping up giant drops of water, and then I have to explain to them we actually made it ahead of time.
We're scooping up the invisible cake.
It's not actually magic. Yeah, it's not actually magic. It would be cool though. I should just tell people that that's the process. The next part is just to plate it together with all the toppings. The raindrop cake itself is made out of spring water and agar. So it's got a neutral flavor to it. Agar is a gelatin alternative that's made out of seaweed. So it's vegetarian and vegan friendly. Gelatin is, you might know, made out of like animal products.
Yeah.
This is made out of seaweed, so it's vegetarian friendly and it's a bit healthier for you. In the U.S., it's often sold in health food stores. It's been used as an ingredient in Asia for thousands of years, but it's just becoming more known and more popular here in the U.S. So part of raindrop cake is to introduce people to agar as a cooking ingredient.
And what else can we cook with agar?
You can make soups, you can make sauces, candies is another very popular item. A lot of people might have already eaten agar before and just not know it. And often a popular form of that is in the jelly candies. Also, just being a vegetarian option to thicken something. Desserts are a very big category. There are also noodles that are made out of agar. So a lot of fun stuff. It's a very versatile ingredient. The benefit is that it's a lot healthier, but also doesn't have a lot of those bad things for you. You know, it just kind of depends on what you put to it. It's really about the texture. So in a lot of like Japanese and Asian cuisines, a lot of desserts and foods are designed around that sort of unique texture that comes with it.
I'm fascinated by this.
So next step is just to place on the boat. Get a plate. The first one we're going to do is our original one, which is the black sugarcane syrup. And the black sugarcane syrup is also known as kiramitsu. And like in its name, it's made out of black sugarcane, which is the sort of darkest of the sugars. They just cook it for a lot longer, and then it has that sort of hints of molasses flavoring to it. And we put that on one side. And then the other topping that we add to it is a kanako powder, and that is a roasted soybean flour. So this is a very flavorful and nutty element to it. It doesn't contain any nuts because it's soybean.
And so what inspired you to start creating these raindrop cakes and bring them to Brooklyn?
You know, probably a number of factors. Part of it is that I was just working on this as a project, just on my off hours, just looking at how I can create something, a dessert that was unique to look at. I was familiar with the jelly desserts that come from Japan, that come from Asia. I've eaten similar jelly desserts that my mom used to make back as a kid, so I was familiar with these. I knew these were good, and I didn't see any of this around in the U.S. market. And then I was also familiar with smorgasbord at the same time, sort of like toying with the idea of like, how do I create something? And it really just started off just in my kitchen, just let me see if I could just make this.
Yeah, totally.
You know, once I made this and it looked great, and I started testing it out with my friends, and they liked it, then it was like, okay, let me see if I can get this into smorgasbord. And so it was kind of like a one step after another. Started as a fun side project and turned into, let me see if I can get this in smorgasbord. Once I got in, let me see if I can turn this into something bigger, and just kind of went from there.
And Smorgasburg is bi-coastal, right? So it's in New York and Los Angeles.
So Smorgasburg is sort of the premier food vendors market. Started in New York about 7 years ago, I think. It's also the birthplace of ramen burger. And so Smorgasburg is known for launching these sort of unique foods, and that's why people go to Smorgasburg. There's a lot of food events around the world, but I think Smorgasburg particularly attracts people because they pick foods that are sort of unique, that have an eclectic taste or ingredients, and you go there because you want to try something you may have never tried before, and this kind of fit the bill, and so they were really excited, and I brought this to them, and they wanted me in there sort of right away. And so Smorgasburg, we actually just finished up our winter or our fall season in Williamsburg, and we're moving indoors starting this weekend.
Nice.
So at the One Hanson Place building, come by Saturday,
right
Sunday.
by Barclays Center there.
Right by Barclays Center. It's both Brooklyn Flea and Smorgasburg, so you can
Nice.
shop and eat food at the same time.
Cool. So I'm really tempted to ask, can I try lifting one of
Absolutely.
these out of the water?
Here,
I'm like really excited about this. It's so magical. Do I get a glove? Can I have a glove?
Here's
I
the
get to put on
glove.
the glove.
Since you're not serving it to
Oh my God.
anybody,
Okay. So
you
I
can
just
dump it in
dump
the
it?
water. Yeah.
Oh my God, here we go. Ah. And do you have to leave it in here for a certain amount of time?
No, it's just so that you can, comfortably get your hand under it without touching the top. So yeah,
I love this.
you can just kind of fish it out. You want to find its flat side.
Oh, okay. I'm on the round side, so I need to flip it.
Yeah, you want to
Okay.
get the flat side. Yeah, and then that's how
Okay.
you lift it up.
Okay.
Yeah, and you kind of let the water just like shake off, and then you can plate it.
Okay. Oh my God. Ah,
How's that feel?
it's
That's
very
kinda fun, right?
jelly. Yeah. It's actually firmer than it looks.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So it's kind of got a consistency. It's a little more delicate than like a Jello. There's
Yeah, you
not
can
much,
feel it's lighter than if you were
Yeah.
holding a piece of
There's
Jell-O.
not much bite to it, so when you actually taste it, you can see that it sort of just kind of dissolves in your mouth. So the best way to eat this, a lot of people ask.
Do we have a topping for this one
let
too?
me top,
Is
yeah,
that-
let me. put-
What's another topping that we can
So,
use?
We put Kanako powder is sort of the standard for both of these, and then we put the next one is a matcha sauce.
Okay.
So it's green tea matcha flavor. Oh wait, street scoop
And we're live!
Hold on. Hi.
We're totally live right now. If you're just joining us, we are here at Magic Kitchen with Raindrop Cakes and Darren Wong.
Hi.
And we're about to taste these invisible cakes to see what invisible cakes even taste like.
All right,
So it's very
there you go.
exciting.
So the best way to eat this is take some of the powder, kind of spoon it on top, and then some of the syrup and spoon that over the top.
Okay, so I'm taking some of the powder here. I'm gonna spoon it on top, right?
Yeah,
Like
and then
that.
some of the syrup and spoon that
and
on
this is
top.
the matcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, on top of the powder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to kind of get it mixed,
Mix it
and
up.
then you can cut up to little pieces to eat it.
Oh my God. Okay,
Yeah,
here
you
we
want
go.
to be careful not to inhale the powder.
No inhaling.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oh wow. It tastes a little, it has a light chocolate flavor to it.
Ooh, chocolate.
I can definitely taste like a light green tea chocolate flavor
Light
to
green
it.
tea chocolate?
And it just really melts in your mouth.
Yes, right.
Wow.
There's not a lot of consistency with
Not
that.
at all. And it almost melts down to a water, like a water base.
And that's sort of the goal that I was shooting for. A lot of people actually, you know, has mentioned that scene from Bug's Life where they drink like a giant drop of water. So that was kind of fun for me, and that sort of, you know, was the reason why I thought it would be fun to create this and name it Raindrop Cake. And whenever people bring up that scene, I'm like, yeah, that's totally it, you know. And part of that motivation was to make it as delicate as possible. So agar as an ingredient, depending on how much you use, can really change the consistency. You can use a lot and you can get something a lot more gummy, a lot more cake-like. And so I purposely use as little as possible, which gives it the very light consistency, so people actually, when they try it, it's like, oh yeah, it's not chewy at all. But that also makes it a really headache to transport and to store, because they break so easily, which is why we go through all these delicate processes, because it is so delicate.
And I'm very excited. I want to taste this one.
Yeah,
so what's this?
This is the original one. This is the black sugarcane syrup. This is my favorite one.
Okay, this is Darren's favorite, the black sugar cane. I'm going to prepare it the same way, yes? So I'm going to put this on top. Yeah? Oh my god. And then put some black sugar cane syrup on top. Mix it up a little bit and take a bite. Oh my god. Here we go. Wow. Wow, that one tastes sweet and nutty.
Yeah, sweet and nutty.
Sweet and nutty. I love it. Oh, they're so different.
Yeah.
And it's all the same ingredients. It's just
The sauces that
the
are
sauce
different.
that makes it.
You know,
different.
a lot of times I describe this as like a variation on a shaved ice. So the concept of a shaved ice is you have water that's frozen that's been shaved, so you get this unique texture, but there's not much flavor to it. And then they put syrups and toppings on top of that. So this is the same concept, right? So you have a raindrop cake that has a very unique texture, and the toppings is what gives it flavor.
Are there other toppings that you have too that you enjoy using, or that you're kind of testing at the moment?
Yeah,
kind of experimental
we got
toppings?
a third topping, syrup, which is a lavender flavored syrup.
Oh, nice.
And then we've been playing with the cake itself. Playing with different tinctures, adding slight flavoring to the water. So just adding a hint of
like
sugar.
Florals would be nice.
Florals. We had one that was cucumber flavored. It's really like, because once you have this toppings on it, the flavoring goes away and it's just about the texture.
Yeah.
But you know, I think just being able to taste the cake by itself and having that little hint of flavor is kind of nice. There are versions where we put edible flowers in it, so just as a visual element. So I think half of Raindrop Cake is because it looks really cool. You know, I think I'm not a chef, so I don't.
No.
I didn't get into this to create a you know, a purely edible dish. You know, part of the appeal for me was the design of it. So it's part art, part food for me. And so putting the flowers into it was sort of this, just up that sort of visual element a lot. So we've been playing with all sorts of things. And hold on. So if you actually jump on my Instagram at Raindrop Cake, you'll see the latest photo is a Halloween edition we did. It's a partnership with the Round Cake Cafe. You can actually go there and get it if you want. We did one with pixie sticks.
Oh, wonderful.
So we had a raindrop cake, and it's sort of interactive with people, and there's condensed milk, and then we'll give you like a flavor of the pixie stick, and you can use that to flavor the cake. Sort of a fun little twist. I like these sort of like twists on things that people might be familiar with, put it in a really sort of new and different place. For instance, one of our first unique flavors was like a s'mores flavored one. It sounds like it wouldn't work because s'mores are very like campfire-y and it's very like water-based dessert. But it looked great and it tasted great. The sauce that we used was a chocolate sauce. We powderized some graham crackers. We drizzled also marshmallow fluff sauce that we created. We toasted actual marshmallows to give it that sort of smoky flavor. So it worked out really, really well, and it was visually really, really nice.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. So excited. We're going to come down to Smorgasburg this weekend. They'll be at One Handsome Place. I'm here with Darren Wong of Raindrop Cakes at Magic Kitchen, and you can follow Darren. Where can we follow? Where can we find these Raindrop Cakes?
Raindropcake.com, Instagram and Facebook at Raindrop Cake.
Yeah. So come and have some Raindrop Cake.